In this video, I'm going to be recreating every single one of Satoru Gojo's abilities in Terraria. But there's one problem: I have zero experience with modding. So, therefore a lot of ChatGPT and copy paste, and let's get into it. By the way, if you enjoy this video, I really appreciate it if you subscribe, but without further ado, let's go. To start it off, I made a bar in the corner for cursed energy, which will be the fuel for my weapons. If you didn't know, cursed energy is a power system in Jujutsu Kaisen. This one is pretty easy since there's a template on example mod. Huge lightsaber, by the way. So, I put the code in, did some tweaking, and it was done. If you haven't watched the show, red and blue are the two main abilities that Gojo uses, with red repelling and blue attracting. At first, I was gonna do something with some shaders, but that was way too complicated for me, so I gave up and decided to make it look like that one Empress of Light attack. But there was the second problem: I didn't know how to do that either. At first, I tried to find it in the decompiled Terraria code, but I ended up finding a decompiled version of the Inferno mod, which I found it there, so cool, I guess. But anyway, for red, I made the particles that usually look like this spread further out so that it would look like an explosion. For blue, I made the projectile freeze when it clicked again, also attracting enemies. But I didn't think that was enough, so I made little chunks of debris that would get sucked in, just like in the anime. Speaking of the anime, I also made a maximum output version of blue, which you could control with your cursor as well. Hollow purple. You know it, you love it, and I butchered it. I didn't really want to make it another weapon, so instead, I made it an accessory. The projectile is just a bigger version of something I already made, so it shouldn't be too hard, right? First, I made a detective where red and blue collide, and then made a cutscene. Finally, I copied the blue, made it hover above the player's head, and made it bigger. But it looked terrible, unless it was moving, so I made it spin. After that, I made a hotkey to shoot it, made it do big damage, and added music while it's active. Doja's domain expansion is known as Infinite Void. What it does is it feeds everybody in the domain an infinite amount of knowledge, causing their brain to process nothing. Of course, mine isn't as good as that, but hey, gold star for trying. For the freeze effect, I disabled the AI of anything on screen, but I might have to change this later because it's permanent. I also added a keybox to activate it, and now all I had to do was make it look the part. My plan was to make a cutscene before the domain, so first I added the sound and camera movements to match it.
領域展開無料空所
And then the backgrounds and some other projectiles, like the ink blotches in the domain and whatever you call this. To make this mod a bit more accurate to the show, I added the 6 size, which is the reason that Gojo can use his abilities. Along with giving a boost to your cursed energy and its generation rate, I also made it necessary to wear this accessory to use red and blue, and added a cool little text if you didn't have it. I also split this item into 2 separate ones for balancing purposes. This one, and the one with infinity, which basically stops anything from directly touching you. Using some ChatGPT code, I made it. It's kinda choppy, but it gets the job done. To finish the mod, I added descriptions to all the stuff I made as well as a line of progression. To fill in the gap between Golem and the pillars, I made it so that Red would get a damage increase and Home to make it easier to take out some of the faster bosses, like Duke or Empress. I also added crafting recipes, cooldowns, sprites, and all that stuff. So, we're all done. Well, not really, cause the sprites aren't, but if you want to help out, my Discord's in the description. But anyway, thanks for watching and see you in another 3 months.